Good afternoon and welcome to RMU-Live for Friday, January 19th. I'm Gage Golding.
And I'm Reagan Check. Here's what's happening now.
President Donald Trump made a trip to Pittsburgh yesterday to talk about his tax reform and support State Representative Rick Saccone. Here's more on the story in Coriopolis. President Trump visited Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania today here at H&K Equipment in Coriopolis to mainly talk about his tax reforms, but as well give his vote of confidence for Representative Rick Saccone.
I've come to the great city of Pittsburgh to stand with people, and those people are incredible workers.
There's a
and
kid
to show
on my
the
floor
world
that
that America
says
is
his
back
wrong
and that we're
perfectly.
coming back bigger and better and stronger.
President Donald Trump came to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to rally for State Representative Rick Saccone, who is running for Congress in this special election coming up in 2018, as well as talk about his tax reform and how it benefited Western Pennsylvania residents and businesses already.
In Pennsylvania alone, families will see a tax cut of about $11 billion just this year alone.
President Trump was proud to report that H&K will be investing $2.7 million of a capital investment back into its plants here in Coriopolis.
Apple just announced they are giving their employees tax cut bonuses worth $2,500 each. And because of our business tax reforms, Apple has just announced that they are bringing $350 billion and putting it into investment into our country. $350 billion.
Trump was excited to report that over 2.2 million jobs have been created since the election. Trump also reported that the unemployment rate is now at an 18-year low. He cites that African-American Hispanic unemployment rates are at the lowest ever recorded. President Trump did talk for about 20 to 25 minutes, mainly focusing on his tax reform, but also talked about the changes with auto manufacturers bringing their business back into the United States and how that's going to directly affect the economy here in Western Pennsylvania. Reporting from H&K Equipment in Coriopolis, Pennsylvania, Gage Golding, RMU Century Media. Trump was about a half an hour late to the stage, but the crowd did not seem to mind. RMU-TV was the only collegiate station at the rally.
Amazon finally announced the 20 finalists for its second headquarters, and Pittsburgh has made the list. A little close to home, places like Philadelphia and Columbus, Ohio also made the list. The second headquarters could bring 50,000 jobs and $5 billion in investment.
For all the animal lovers, you might want to check out baby Vivian Lee, the newest addition to the family at the National Aviary in Pittsburgh. Last week, the National Aviary here in Pittsburgh released to the public their newest addition to the family, a 5-month-old baby sloth by the name of Vivian Lee. On January 9th, the National Aviary in Pittsburgh introduced its new two-toed sloth, baby girl Vivian Lee. The zoo named their new baby sloth after 1920s classic film star Vivian Lee. After a recent medical examination by the Aviary Directory of Veterinary Medicine, Dr. Pilar Fish, the little sloth is in excellent health condition. She weighs almost 2.5 pounds and is about 14.5 inches long. Vivian Lee greeted her first guests at the aviary on January 9th during her first sloth talk. Now, guests get to see Vivian in person during one of her feeding sessions every day at 12:30 p.m. In addition to meeting the new baby sloth, guests that visit the National Aviary on January 27th and 28th get to take part in a special event weekend. The aviary presents Masters of the Sky, which is included with admission from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. each day. At Masters of the Sky, guests get to be up close and personal with birds of prey, enjoy special activities, crafts, bird talks, as well as meet the birds. Now, today's Sloth Talk at the aviary was extremely busy. About 70 to 100 people packed in to see baby Vivian Lee for the first time. Now, if you want a more up-close and personal experience with Vivian, you have the opportunity here at the aviary starting on February 1st. For about $150, you get to get in a group of about 8 people for about 20 to 30 minutes and have the opportunity to pet and learn more about Vivian in an up-close atmosphere. Reporting outside the National Aviary in downtown Pittsburgh, Gage Golding, RMU Century Media. Reagan, I cannot explain how adorable this little baby sloth is. She's only 5 months old, weighs about 2.5 pounds.
She is too cute. I'm going to have to go visit her myself. 13 children were rescued from what officials are calling the California torture house. The siblings were reportedly starved and rarely ever saw the sun. They were left hungry and shackled to the bed. David Allen Turpin and his wife, Louisa Anna Turpin, were charged with 12 counts of torture, 7 counts of abuse on a dependent adult, 12 counts of false imprisonment, and 6 counts of child abuse.
Health professionals in Pittsburgh have confirmed that at least 3 people have died from the flu or influenza this year in Allegheny County. Dr. Richard Zimmerman from the University of Pittsburgh says that most of the 260 people that have been hospitalized with the flu have the strain H3N2, which is the more severe strain of the flu. Of the 3 people that died, all were over the age of 60 and did have underlying health issues.
Dr. Robert Ferrante, who was a former researcher for the University of Pittsburgh, was convicted of first-degree murder for killing his wife with cyanide in 2013. On Thursday, the court upheld his conviction. Ferrante's attorneys then argued that the case needed reviewed due to insufficient evidence. He appealed this conviction in October of 2017, and the court upheld it on Thursday.
Although temperatures in Pittsburgh have somewhat warmed up, the rivers in the city are still feeling the effects of the sub-zero temperatures. Emergency officials report that 2.5-mile stretch of ice jam is causing some problems in the Allegheny River between New Kensington and Tarentum. The U.S. Coast Guard and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers say that the ice jam could cause some local flooding until the swelling reduces. The United States gymnastic team has terminated its partnership with the Caroline Ranch in Huntsville, Texas, amidst a sexual abuse scandal. This separation comes just days after gold medalist Simone Biles came forward and said that team doctor Larry Nassar also sexually abused her. In addition to Biles, 2012 Olympic champion Gabby Douglas and 6-time gold medalist Ali Raisman have also come forward, alleging Nassar abused them. Nassar is already serving 60 years in federal prison for child pornography crimes and is currently awaiting sentencing after pleading guilty to molesting girls at Michigan State University and his home.
On Wednesday, January 10th, Barry Kurtz, 48, and Kevin Gilmore, 42, from Ambridge are facing charges after assaulting each other while high on crack cocaine. Reportedly, the men had been drinking together before the assault. When the officials found them, they reported that they both seemed highly intoxicated. They are now facing aggravated assault, reckless endangerment, and simple assault.
A gunman killed a United States Marshal in Harrisburg yesterday morning. The Marshal, along with police officers from York City Police Department, were attempting to arrest a suspect in an unrelated case. One York City officer was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And for all the sports, arts, and entertainment, check out RMUCentralMedia.com. Coming up after the break, the threat of government shutdown in the Senate finally compromised on a bill.
And relief efforts in the Middle East after cut spending.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fine. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
The House passes a short-term spending bill on Thursday after the Democrats threatened to block it. 9 Senate Democrats who voted for the prior spending measure in December did not support the latest proposal of a 4-week extension. This left the bill short about 60 votes. After a long debate, the House was finally able to pass the bill. Also, former Uber CEO Travis Kalanick closed a deal with a consortium led by a Japanese SoftBank group. The consortium will get a 20% stake, and once it becomes official, Kalanick will walk away with $1.4 billion richer. It is reported that after the jumbling of shares, Uber's value will go down about $20 billion.
Relief efforts in the Middle East made an urgent appeal for international support to help Palestinian refugees after the U.S. State Department cut spending. The UN Relief and Works Agency is helping millions of refugees, cites that the United States contribution of $60 million is significantly less than the expected $125 million. President Trump tweeted that he would cut off all spending for support if there was not an appreciation for the support.
On Thursday, India tested their new long-range intercontinental ballistic missile, and the conclusion was successful. The nuclear-capable RMU-5 is reportedly India's most advanced missile. This is the 5th time the RMU-5 has been tested since 2012. North and South Korea have agreed to march under the same flag at the Winter Olympics. This is an important growth in between the countries in 2 years. This began in the new year when North Korea decided to send a team to the Games.
Scientists are reporting that 2017 was the second to third hottest year ever recorded. In the past, warmer weather was accredited to El Nino, but in 2017 there was no evidence sign of the weather phenomenon. Leading scientists are citing that increased CO2 emissions are the leading cause for the warmer weather.
And humpback whales have returned to the New York harbor for the first time in a century, and they are coming in large numbers. Officials say that the whales are feeding in New York City before migrating south to the Caribbean for winter.
2 teenage boys off the beach of New South Wales, Australia, were saved by the use of an unmanned drone. The 15 and 17-year-old boys in distress were spotted by a beachgoer that reported the incident to lifeguards. The lifeguards on staff just so happened to be training using the drones. Within 70 seconds of the call, the drone located the struggling boys and helped guide emergency officials to aid.
Deadly storm Frederick has torn through Germany and has crossed over into Poland, killing 8 people. 2 of the 8 were firefighters who were helping with cleanup efforts when they were killed. Many others were killed by debris, and 1 was killed in a collision when his van was blown to the other side of the road.
An exiled Zimbabwe opposition leader was killed in a helicopter crash in the deserts of New Mexico Thursday. Roy Bennett was one of the 5 people that died when the Huey helicopter transporting them crashed in a remote part of Raton, New Mexico. The National Travel and Safety Board is investigating the accident, and details have not yet been released.
And researchers are just one step closer toward developing a blood test that will detect cancer even before symptoms appear. The blood test will cost $500, and scientists are hoping to use this to catch cancer in its earliest stages when it's more treatable. They tested this on about 1,000 people who had already been diagnosed with cancer, and the test found signs of cancer in about 70% of them.
Be sure to watch our other shows, RMU Live on Mondays at 1 and on Fridays at 12, Sports Talk in the Berg at 6:30 p.m. and Colonial Sports Center at 9:30 p.m. right here on RMU TV.
And coming up after the break, Tyler Schlendorn in our Weather Center and Nick Hederick with sports.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to RMU-Live. I'm Nick Hedrick. Pittsburgh sure had a rough week in the sports department. Pirates ace Garrett Cole was traded to the World Series champions, the Houston Astros. Andrew McCutchen was also traded. He will be playing for the San Francisco Giants. The team received several prospects and cash considerations for the two former All-Stars. On to hockey, the Penguins' 4-game winning streak was snapped Wednesday when they were defeated by the Anaheim Ducks by a final score of 5-3. They soon returned to winning form as they beat the Los Angeles Kings 3-1 last night. The Steelers' offensive coordinator Todd Haley will not be returning to the team as his contract will not be renewed. Quarterback coach Randy Fitchner will replace Haley next season. In the world of RMU sports, the men's basketball team beat Sacred Heart by a final score of 74-60. Deshaun Burke led the way with 19 points. Both the men's and women's basketball teams will travel to Wagner this weekend to take on the Seahawks. The women look to remain undefeated in conference play, and the men will look for their third straight win. The men's hockey team will host Bentley in a weekend doubleheader this weekend. They will try to avenge the 2 losses they had to the Falcons earlier this season. The women's team will travel to Rochester to play the Rochester Institute of Technology, RIT, in a doubleheader as well. They beat the Tigers twice earlier this season. And that is all the time we have for sports. Let's throw it over to Tyler Schlendorn with the weather. Tyler, how's it looking out there?
All right, and that's all we have for RMU Live.
We'll see you next week. Have a great day.
All right, but really, that baby sloth.